Hey guys, it's me, Des, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing The Chi Season 6, Episode 12, City of Gold. Alright, so first off, wasn't a bad episode. It didn't give too much, it didn't give too little. It gave just enough to hold us over for this upcoming week, for the next episode on Friday. I wasn't mad at it. I was like, okay, it's alright. Um, but let's just jump right into it. So first, we have Bianca and Duda. Mm. So Bianca, at the beginning of this episode, she asks Duda for a weed permit because she's in business with Alicia and Tiff, and of course she has her own business, but she's incorporating, Tiff's business with her weed, and yeah. So she went to Duda, asked him for a weed permit, and he said he'll get right onto it, which of course he went to Victor, who you know that's what Victor is there for. That's why he's in position and place as city councilman, to do stuff like that, for Duda. So of course they got the weed permit, and the business Air Gold is pretty upscale, pretty nice. Bianca said that like she has cases that will go for like $5,000, and that shocked Tiff because she was just like, "What the heck?" And she was like, "Yeah, this is the clientele. It's upscale. This isn't some rinky-dink business. This is she puts time and effort into her business, which you could tell because the place was really nice, really elegant, really classy, and yeah, I had laughed midway through the episode because Alicia walked in when Tiff and Bianca were sitting at the table, and she's like, "It smells like reefer in here," and I just thought that was hilarious because Bianca was just like, "Well, that's part of the business now. It's no longer like a cigar lounge. We're way past that, now. So this is what we're doing in the the new times and day and age." So I thought that was like hilarious because her face was like, I can't get with this, but it looks like it's gonna be successful and bring in some money. So that's a good thing. Of course, like I said at the beginning of the episode, Bianca and Duda were messing around, and of course Tiffany walks in, and Tiffany was just not too happy about that. And Bianca, just having a casual conversation with Tiffany, of course, was just like her relationship with Duda is transactional, and he does something for her, she does something for him. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And yeah, which later backfired towards the end of the episode because, as we know, Tiff ran back and told Duda, what Bianca said. So, worst mistake ever. Yeah, it just, girl code, just, I don't know. It just wasn't smart on Tiff's plan. Because it could, it's like Tiff doesn't know what Bianca and Alicia have up their sleeve, or even if Alicia may know, or what Bianca could be doing, even though I feel like she's still, I don't know if we can really trust Bianca, but at the same time, she could be playing both sides. She could be, being loyal to Alicia. That could be the cashing in the favor that Alicia had asked for. That could be her favor. Just continue playing your role, play your part. He won't even see us coming. But now, because Tiffany ran her mouth, they gotta swing it at a different angle. So who knows? We'll just see how that continues to carry out. This episode, Duda was paranoid like a mother. Like, he was so paranoid, off his game, like trying to reinforce his position and like let people know, like, I'm not to be messed with. he was drinking, which reminded me of Ghost from Power, like when Ghost would drink and he would just be paranoid and acting like a fool, making a fool of himself. Like, that was Duda this episode, just making a fool out of himself and trying to, like, scare people and let them know, like, he's still in power and he, you know, like I said, it's just not one to be messed with. So, that. I'm like, your whole empire is just falling. It's crumbling. You know, you got your dudes doing their own thing behind your back, and you're worried about people that you should not really be worried about. I mean, he should, but I think he has bigger people to be worried about, as we saw at the end of the episode when he received the tie in the box that said this would look good on you in your casket, which I'm assuming is from Alicia, because nobody else, I don't think, would be bold enough to send him anything like that. And I'm laughing because he made Zay open it, and I was just like, I thought you were like big and bad, and you scared to open a box. Like, it's a gift for you. Like, if it was sorry. Like, I was just looking like, if you don't get over there and open that box up, like, stop being scared. But yeah, like, even Zay was just looking like, okay. And it was a tie. Like, it wasn't anything serious. It wasn't a big deal. So I just had to laugh because I was like, come on now. Like, you out here drinking. You off your game. You're, you know, nobody really wants to work for you anymore. Nobody cares. So, like, get it together. Get it together. And for me, I was like, dude, I has to go. Like, I think a lot of us say that, like, every episode that he really needs to go because he's getting on my nerve. Like, just being a muscle man and trying to force your way and, you know, doing too much. Like, doing too much. He has to go. I don't know if it's this end of this season or next season or whatever, but you need to go because he getting on my nerve. Because I'm just like, what is going on? Like, you're losing it, sir. You're losing it, Otis. You're losing it. Calm down. But yeah, this episode, like I said, we had Tiff. Tiff, to me, is doing really good with her business ever since, you know, she had that conversation initially with Cairo, and, you know, him helping or teaching Rob and Tiffany how to start the weed business and, you know, grow it themselves and the whole process, the whole 9 yards. She has come a long way, especially from last season. She's super organized, has everything, you know, well put together. And I can understand her concerns with Bianca messing with Duda. I get that because, you know, like I said, she's hardworking. She's, you know, has a lot going with the business. It seems to be growing. Things seem to be in order. She's very organized, you know. That's one thing I will say. Tiff is kind of a good business person if she would just be a little bit more mature and keep her mouth shut. Like, mind her business, do business like Bianca said, and keep your mouth shut. Like, that's all she has to do. So, yeah. Because a little back and forth, I get it. Like, I feel like that was her one-up. Like, you almost took my man out. You coming in here like, oh, he could have been dead. I didn't come here for Bianca. I really came here for you. You know, kind of thing. Like, Tiff is just one that, you know, she did let Duda really get under her skin instead of just, like, letting it ride. Even those times where she kept mumbling stuff and he was like, what you say? And she was like, oh, nothing. But I was like, dang, you just threw Bianca under the bus. Like, and of course, in the end of the episode, as we saw, you know, Bianca did confront Tiff about that, and, like, let her know, like, watch yourself. And I do feel sorry for you. Like, as you should feel sorry. Like, and I was like, dang. That was a little bit of Tony coming out from Girlfriends. I was like, whoa, which is hilarious. Well, not hilarious, but, like, ironic that the lady that played Maya's mother in Girlfriends is who Alicia and Tiffany were talking to before Bianca came over and, you know, kind of popped off a little bit, classy pop off on Tiffany to let her know, like, stay in your place. Pretty much just stay in your place, know your role, know your position, and don't. And that's the thing. Like, she already had told her before, like, what does that have to do with you? Because Tiffany had already came to her early in the episode, was like, I saw you and Duda making out, whatever. I don't want any ties with him, this, that, and the third. And she was like, how is that your business? That's my business. That's something that has to deal with me, not you. So, and of course, Tiffany took it, ran with it, and did not listen. This episode, we had Bakari and Brittany a little bit more into their relationship and their upbringing, just a smidge. Bakari has like a bunch of people that do not want him to do this book, and I just feel for him because I feel like he has such an amazing story. It's not finished, not yet. I'm hoping that he keeps going. Nothing happens to him. But his story is ongoing, and he has a lot to tell. And, he really wants to get it out. He really wants to express it to, whoever. He wants to write this book. And, his sister is just not for it, of course, especially because he's naming names. And he was like, well, I could switch up the names. The feds won't know, who it is. And so she's just like, no. Now, Bakari is not stupid. I think a lot of people think he's dumb, but I don't think he's dumb. He's just in survival mode, doing what he has to do, working for Douda, even though he doesn't want to work for Douda. Like, he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot, in a different direction, positive path, different path, yeah. And so, Bakari, you could see a little bit of back and forth of Bakari just being super annoyed with his sister, and not just for the fact that like she left him and never came back for him when they were kids in foster care and stuff like that, because you can still see he was holding on to that, but for the simple fact that he put 2 and 2 together, because Jake told him like, oh yeah, your sister was the reason that Gemma got her place. And so as he remembered, and as anybody else recalls, when we met Brittany was looking for a place to stay, and Bakari was like, no, because you're going to mess up what I have here with Pastor Stanley and his family, so no, you can't stay with me, you got to find somewhere else, but we can catch up later. He was taken off guard that his sister was even in town. That day he had just finished talking to Jamal, and so, yeah, he was just like, so you just kind of came into some money, you can... you handing out checks, you can help fund Gemma's apartment, like, something's off about that, which I think now, especially, like I said, because Douda was drinking, and, Brittany, later in the episode, because Douda was making his rounds to reinforce to people that, hey, I'm in power, I have all this power, you guys listen to me, you do what I say, you work for me, you're on my payroll, or whatever. So, Douda, later in the episode, he and Nuck go to confront Brittany about the information on Bakari, because that is her job. She got paid 30 racks to spy on her brother. And so basically they confront her in the studio like, I didn't give you all this money to be a fake rapper. Which I was like, dang, Douda, like, you just be crushing everybody's dreams, and like, how she's gonna, fail? Zay just told you he heard her on the radio, like, right in front of you. So I'm just like, that's a bit much, but okay. So yeah, so of course, Brittany snitched and told on Bakari that Bakari wants to write this book, and so of course that has Douda on a spiral even more. Like, is he naming names? We can't make this happen. You need to tell him, like, do something else with your time, go on a different path, whatever. And so, of course, Bakari goes and he tries to talk to Douda about an allowance, which I didn't even know he was getting an allowance from Douda. And I'm like, dang, how much is he paying you? $8? Like, shucks. You can't even get a laptop because Bakari needs a laptop to write his book, and email that stuff to Professor Gardner. Because Professor Gardner was just like, okay, one, you're taking notes in the notes app. You're not using punctuation. It's all over the place. Your grammar is just like, no. We need to take it from the top. You need to get a laptop. You need to email me your pages. Like, I know you put a lot of hard work into it, but this is not going to work. And so, like I said, Bakari, goes to Douda. I'm like, hey, can I get an advance, an allowance, something? When am I getting my allowance? And of course, Douda was like, I'll give it to you, when I give it to you, kind of thing. And so Bakari's, clearly pissed off because he just got choked up by Duda about an allowance. I'm like, because all he needs is enough money to buy a laptop, but of course, Duda is not going to do that. And this kind of, his interaction with Bakari reminded me of his interaction with Jake. Like, he tried to swoop in earlier seasons of the Shy, Duda did with Jake, and try to, like, take him under his wing. And I think initially he thought Jake was going to be, like, the next person in charge, take his spot, be the head person for the 63rd Street Mob. If anybody remembers that. If you don't, go back to earlier seasons, because earlier seasons were also lit, and it will explain a whole lot, okay? But yeah, so, and Jake was, living with Duda, and he even got to witness himself, like, Duda's change of character and how he would just snap at any given moment and all sorts of stuff. So that kind of interaction between Duda and Bakari reminded me of Duda and Jake. Like, he couldn't succeed with Jake, so now it's just like, alright, screw Nuck, screw Zay, I'm just gonna lock in on Bakari because it's like another Jake, pretty much. So I always want the best for Bakari, and it's just, he's trying, like, in the episode we saw him talking to Lene because, like I said, he is trying. He got a typewriter. And I thought that was amazing because he's not letting anyone or anything stop him. He's expressing himself, getting his feelings out, still going to write the book, I guess, until he's able to get a laptop. And like Lene said, if you stop working for Duda, enroll in school next semester, maybe Nina will allow you to live here with us. Because, Keisha's not there. Kevin's no longer, on the show. He's no longer in the house. So there's room. I mean, of course, Bakari was like, no, it's not going to happen. But she said, it could happen. If you show her, like, you're trying to do better, she might just let you stay here, which I would love that for them. That would be awesome, like a whole 360. So, and that's what he needs. Like, I feel like also just him living at Papa's, I don't think it's working anymore. Like, it was one thing when Pastor Stanley was living, but he's no longer living, and the interaction that Bakari and Mrs. Stanley had, like, Bakari said, I could leave, like, does she want me to leave, does she want me to move out, kind of thing. Like, it just gave, maybe you need to start looking for other places to go, kind of thing. So I love that he has Lene in his corner, and she's fully supportive of him and all sorts of stuff. So I think that's really good for him. But Brittany, and I think, like, with Brittany, Bakari can see right through her. Like, he's not, like I say, he's not dumb. He's questioning her motives. He's questioning, like, everything. Like, where'd you get the money? And I think he's gonna put two and two together, because I believe the only person he really told was Brittany about the book. Because before it was like he was hiding the journal and, just keeping it to himself. And so, yeah. I think he's going to put two and two together because Duda basically kind of told on himself and told on Brittany that, like, hey, you're writing a book. Because Bakari Fitch is like, how do you know I'm writing a book? So, I'm like, Brittany, you just made it worse for yourself. Like, your brother's not dumb. He's not going to, yeah. Anywho, that's another thing. I'm like, how much is, like, that's I just really want to know how much is Bakari getting paid by Duda, because I remember earlier in the first half he kept saying, like, he just needs enough money to get off Papa's couch, or, like, save up, and he don't really know how much is going to be enough, but he just needs money. So I'm like, dang, like, you lowballing people that work for you, like, that's messed up. Anyways, we're going to get into Emmett and Keisha. Emmett goes to Tiff to see if she can help him with talking to Alicia, because he knows, like, okay, Alicia's still living. Duda asks for him to get Alicia out of here, and he still hasn't done it yet. And so he's just like, look, I just think I need to talk to her. I need to get on her good side. I need to do something, partner up. And Tiff was just like, it's probably not going to be that easy, and, I don't know, kind of thing. So I'm like, it's so many warnings that everybody's getting, whether it's Tiff giving, Emmett warning, Rob giving Emmett a warning, like, everybody's just warning everybody. I don't think anybody's, like, really listening. They're just like, yeah, whatever. As long as I'm cool for now, like, it's good. So Emmett and Tiff go to see Alicia, and I'm laughing because I'm like, dang, Rashad is taking the security job, head of security, top flight security, very seriously. Um, he's just like, all right, Tiff, you can sit in the living room. Emmett, let's go upstairs. He pats Emmett down. Emmett goes in. He talks to Alicia, who is in bed in her nightgown with the strap, like, locked and loaded, ready to go, looking at him like, what do you want? She was like, it's never a good time to bother me. And I was like, I know that's right. Like, in your house, you comfortable? Okay, girl. Okay. But, yeah. So, Emmett, she has a conversation with Emmett and just kind of, I like Alicia to a certain extent because she kind of makes you think. Like, if you're going to do this, why are you doing this? Do you not want more for yourself? And that's basically how she was talking to Emmett. Like, why would you want to be in anybody's pocket? Like, why don't you want to be your own boss kind of thing? Why are you listening to Doodah? Do you really think that the other Smokies in Harlem is bringing in a lot of money? Do you really trust Doodah? So it makes, it was making Emmett think, like, dang, Doodah could be saying anything to me. Alicia's right, and of course she agrees to, partner with him and have a visit to Smokies, which is good business. If you have a business, you need to check in on your business on a good regular basis, make sure things are going afloat, see how things are getting ran, So it's like, okay, that's good. And of course, she's like, she's going to come by Smokies. And it was like, we got good ribs. She was like, I'm vegan. He's like, well, we got vegan options too. She was like, well, that's good. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, straight shooter, to the point, like, good businesswoman. I just think it's best to not do her dirty or mess over her or anything like that. And like Emmett does have a gift for gab, made her realize, like, if you wanted to turn me into Doodah, you would have done it, but you're not. So yeah, here we are. And pretty much everybody on the show does what's best for them, and to a certain extent they kind of look out for each other, but they also do what they think is going to be best for them as well. And that's what Emmett was trying to get Alicia to understand, like, you're going to do what's best for you at the end of the day, and this is most likely what's best for you. We also get, unfortunately, baby Ronnie is having some issues. He was crying, and Keisha and Emmett take him to the doctor or the hospital. And unfortunately, the doctor is just like, did he have any kind of test when he was born? Any genetic tests from you or the father to just see if there was any, genetic disease? Any kind of testing. And so that gave Keisha flashbacks to when her kidnapper, that whole situation happened, and her unaliving her kidnapper, and her, basically everybody knows her story. She was SA'd, and baby Ronnie was produced, so, which is really unfortunate. And so yeah, Keisha's concerned. Emma's like, I'm not the dad. So now she has to go through a series of getting his DNA to see if her kidnapper was the one to possibly pass on some genetic disease to baby Ronnie, which I feel for Keisha because I could see on her face, like, as a mom, that crushed her because it's, like, not something she could have prevented. And so, ironically, though, we had Nuck show up, and I'm just like, there's always little Easter eggs and little clues, because I'm like, oh, now he shows up when they mention the father, so I'm like, could Nuck if you buck, be the dad? Who knows? Timeline is just kind of like track coach. Nuck was somewhere in there, her kidnapper, like, yeah, and I think Nuck came before the kidnapper, so either or, Nuck could be the dad, or, unfortunately, her kidnapper. I don't think her track coach, because I don't think that even lasted that long, so, yeah. Keisha, of course, was just looking like, what the heck, because like I said, Nuck showed up at the hospital, and she's looking like, what are y'all doing here, and what's going on, because Nuck, I think he's just the muscle man for Doodah. I don't think he'd really be, like, next in charge for real. Because, of course, like I said, without Nuck, Doodah is there as well. So, Doodah was looking at Emmett like, why is Alicia still living, breathing, walking around? And then, Emmett's like, okay, what? how did you find us? Do y'all not see where we're at? We're at the hospital. Like, time and place, Duda. Time and place. But Duda does not care about that at all. Like, he's always watching somebody, always, popping up. And like he said, I was watching you. Like, he don't care. Which made me beg to question because, like I said, Emmett and Alicia had that conversation, and Alicia said that she was going to get security detail for Emmett. I was like, where the heck was the security? Like, when does that start? 3 business days, 5 business days, like what? 3 to 5 business days, like what's going on? Like, where was the security detail? Because not doing their job. I'm assuming the security has not kicked in yet, and I'm gonna need them to have security like next episode. From Alicia, because this is it's too much. Yeah. Like I said, baby Ronnie is having some kind of health complications, and Fatima is gonna end up helping Keisha out with getting, I guess, her kidnappers' DNA, because she works with sexual assault victims, and which they learned that via Victor. Emmett and Keisha did. So Keisha, like I said, goes to Fatima to get help, which I'm like, dang, we were missing a lot of characters so far, and we're getting not a lot of characters that we usually see this season, because I would have thought that Keisha would have went to Nina, her mom, to kind of have this conversation, but instead, like I said, she went to Fatima. Like, we didn't really see Tracy that much this season so far. Nina was like probably one episode. We haven't really seen Lene like that. Jada was like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, so I don't know. It's a lot of people now in the cast, so I was like, but I would have thought that at least Keisha would have had that conversation with Nina, but we may see her next episode, so yeah. Speaking of Alicia and Rashad and security, I laughed at Alicia with her conversation with Emmett because she was like, why do black women always have to save everyone? And I get that, okay. Because I would be fed up too. Like, ugh, y'all don't know how to do business. Y'all don't know how to handle your own issues. Like, what do you want? Kind of thing. Rashad, like I said, is taking the security detail very seriously. And I'm laughing because one thing's for certain, 2 things for sure. Darnell is always going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. Darnell told Rashad, like, be careful. And I'm like, another warning about Alicia, because he was like, they look like somebody hand-me-downs. And that's the same thing Rashad said when he first put on that leather jacket looking like Shaft with them glasses. I was like, okay. I had to hear the bounce that he did in that one, his, Jason Weaver had that one song back in the day, and he did the little bounce. I had to do it. But yeah, anyways, he looked like Shaft, and I was like, okay, listen to Darnell, because Darnell is not warning you for no reason. Like, I'm pretty sure he feels the same way, like a little off about, this job. Because I think Darnell is still trying to help him. Like, okay, I know you love to fix things, because last episode, he was fixing Alicia's sink and whatever with Darnell, because that's Darnell's business. He goes around fixing stuff. So I'm like, that's a legitimate business, okay? Like, Darnell was trying to get him to understand, like, 1, it looked like somebody hand me down. Could be Alonzo's. And 2, how much do you know about her and her businesses? Like, is this legit kind of thing? So yeah, and same thing in the episode, not only with Darnell and Rashad, but Rashad at the end of the episode, when talking to Victor, was offered a job by Victor, being security for The Rock. So I'm just like, I'm sure, or not being here the security, I think being in charge of the men's group, I think that's what I meant to say, sorry. He was asked by Victor to be head of the men's group because the men really look up to Rashad, or not really look up, but they take heed to what he says, and it's like a brotherhood of the men's mental health group. And I think Rashad would be a great person to be in charge, because segue into Victor, as we saw at the end of the episode, Victor got clinked by the feds and for Quinn's murder. So Victor may be gone for some period of time here, which every episode, just like Bakari, I feel for Victor because he cannot win for losing. Like, he cannot keep his head above water, keep afloat. Like, he's just drowning. So in this episode with Victor, we saw him at a voting meeting, like with the other city council members or whatever, and basically it's for the mayor, for, you know, putting more money towards the mayor, which then means to revert the reversal of the defunding the police. Victor voted yes because Quincy, his campaign manager, told him, like, hey, sometimes we have to do what we don't want to do. Just vote yes because you need more people in your pocket. You need more people in your corner. You do this for them, they may be able to do something for, you know, you. Same thing Bianca told Victor about being transactional. You do something for me, I do something for you, you know, because Victor was able to sign off on the weed permit for Bianca, and like I said, he voted yes for more funding for the mayor, which meant the reversal of the defunding the police. And so he had a group of people just angry at him, calling him a traitor, like mobbing deep outside of his office, angry, disappointed, like, and I get that. Like, of course, we have election season coming up this year in November, and of course, every election, I don't care if it's the Senate, president, whatever, you always get people that are going to say, like, hey, I'll do X, Y, and Z for your vote. And, you know, and then they get in office, whether what position, and then it doesn't pan out. It doesn't happen. Something gets voted against, something else comes up, and you're like, okay, like, what? And that's pretty much how the people feel. Like, we voted you in office because of where you stood, like your stance on, you know, defunding the police, your stance on just different issues. We thought you were a great city councilman, and then for him to vote yes, it was just like a smack in the face. And like I said, many people were, you know, they had signs up calling him a traitor. They were unhappy with him. And of course, you know, Bianca was like, she'll help him out. She'll put in a good word. Because he did something for her. And I think a lot of the relationships, or not a lot, some of the relationships on the show are purely transactional. Like she said, you do something for me, I do something for you. I'll put in a good word since you got me my weed permit. So we shall see what is to come of Victor the rest of this episode. And I wonder if Fatima is going to be able to withstand this, because I think episode 9, if I recall, is when Fatima had told him, like, I'm not going to be dating a killer. Like, I'm not going to be with somebody that acts like this, that does things like this, that kills people or whatever. And so, yeah, I wonder if she's going to stick by him, because she was literally there after Rashad and Victor had just finished up their conversation. Rashad was like, I'm not taking the job from you, which I'm like, Rashad, stop being dumb, because this whole couple of episodes you've been saying, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job. It's hard for ex-convict, I need a job. And Darnell and Victor are trying to give you legitimate businesses to work for, trying to give him the tools to do things the right way, and, you know, put some money in his pockets. And Rashad is now feeling himself, I guess, because he's with Alicia and working for Alicia, and I don't even know how much Alicia's paying him, but I'm sure it's probably a pretty penny. And so he's just taking it to the head, like, he don't really need their help or need, you know, anything from them. And, you know, he kind of did go off on Victor, like, don't do this for me because you're feeling guilty because of what you did earlier with your vote or whatever. And so, like I said, after that whole conversation, Fatima walked in and was just trying to, like, talk to him, but then the feds was like, you're under arrest for the murder of Quentin. And I was just like, dang. Where's Alonzo? Alonzo would have been on speed dial. Like, call my lawyer. I'm not saying nothing else. And I feel for Victor, because you can see it's just weighing on him, like, super heavy. And nobody really gets it. Nobody understands. And I'm going to need Alonzo to do what he does. come and work his magic, be all Alonzo Lafayette, be all suave or whatever, and help Victor out because he needs it. So yeah. This episode, we also had Pastor Zeke, Papa, and Kenya. I laughed a little bit at Kenya and Papa's conversation because I like Kenya. She's okay. She's okay, but she helped, or at least I hope she helped Papa understand that he's being a hypocrite. Like, you listen to your dad when it came to not dealing with, me. Like, when Pastor Stanley was like, I don't like Kenya, I don't want you dealing with her, he listened to her. Like, he cut Kenya off. But now he about to mess with her dad, which Pastor Stanley hated the man. Everybody knows that because he said he's too flashy. He just doesn't seem like a godly man. And I was just like, that's right. He been a pure hypocrite. Like, and I remember, like, Papa used to, like, I think the last episode before, of last season, I mean, not last season, the first half, sorry. I believe that's what Pastor Stanley and Papa were going back and forth with, about Pastor Stanley being, like, a hypocrite because he took the money from Judah and this, that, and the third. But I'm like, look at you now, Papa. Like, your dad gone. And you don't have no room to talk. Like, and Pastor Zeke's church looked like more of a business and less of a church. I didn't get that church wholesome vibe. It just felt they doing aerobics classes, PowerPoint presentations, you name it, and it just was like, this is a business or a church? Like, what's going on here? Like, it just didn't give church at all. And Pastor Zeke calling him son, I was like, watch yourself now, watch yourself. Even Papa said it, like, I don't know, he just doesn't give you a pastor vibe. And him just even talking to Pastor Z, talking to Papa and being like, oh, I'm like Jay-Z, I don't write anything when I go do my sermons, it just all comes from God, just like all of this. And Papa was like, you mean your congregation or God? And he was like, both. And I was like, And a lot of these new age pastors are like that. But we're not going to really speak on it too much. But a lot of them be given that, like, be gaudy and stuff like that. Like, that is not of Christ. So, yeah. I just don't think Papa should trust Pastor Zeke. Even Pastor Zeke kind of, like, spun on him a little bit of, like, oh, I think you should teach the youth group or whatever tonight. And this, that, and the third. And Papa was like, I don't have anything prepared. But you can see less of Pastor Stanley's influence and more Pastor Zeke's influence just slowly creeping in on Papa. Because Papa was just like, oh, he got up there, he started talking about his father. And then out of nowhere, it was just money, financial gain, this, that, and the third. I'm like, Papa, you grew up with Kevin and Jake. Now you have Bakari. You went through so many things with your friends and your household, your father. Like, there's so many things you could talk about, so many life lessons that could be taught to these group of youth. You just graduated high school, like, and all you're talking about is financial gain, money, finances, abundance. Like, where's the message, the heart, the meat, the core, I wasn't feeling it. And I could tell Jake wasn't feeling it either. Even though, like Papa said, are you here for me or the first lady? Like, I'm like, clock it. Clock it. Like, oh my gosh. I was just looking like, I mean, he got you, Jake. Because you could see the look on Jake's face when they kept paying it to the audience. Like, Jake just kept looking around like, yeah, like, he wasn't feeling it. And you could really tell he was there for the first lady. Of course, they, like, met up or whatever, and, had a conversation. He brought her some of his merch from his business, the Shy Seeds, and, he was like, if you need something else, let me know, and she's like, will do. So I think they're still going to continue to do what they do on the low, but they might get caught, who knows. And of course Zay was there, and I'm like, since when were you a church boy? Like, still watching him, because I'm like, are you scoping out Pastor Zeke? Like, I don't know, I feel like Zay could just be scoping him out. possibly using Kenya to get to her father, but I'm like, Kenya don't have a good relationship with her father, so you might need to take it another angle. I don't think this is gonna work. But he could, potentially be interested in Kenya. Because he was all, like, no, I don't care about the church and that whole 10% tithing and all that stuff. I like to make my money the, old fashioned way. I was just like, you work for Dudot, and like Kenya said, you're stealing cars. That's your job. You steal cars. Like, what? Boy, bye. And like, Xavier pissed me off too, because he's like a snake. He just slithers his little way in there. Like I said earlier in the episode, snitching on Brittany, talking about, isn't that still her on the radio? Didn't you pay her to do a job? Like, shut up. Like, shut up. Trying to do too much, trying to be a boss. But, like, say, get on my nerve. Him and Nuck. Because I'm like, y'all be a muscle man. Be your own person. Like, I don't know. It was too much. Speaking of Nuck, Nuck, of course, we all know he's in partnership with Rob, and of course, Alicia and Bianca and Tiff are not happy about it. Alicia was like, look, your whole deal that you did with my son can be renegotiated, so I wonder what's going to happen with that, what's going to take place. Is she going to give him a amount of money? Is she going to hire him as security? Because I feel like girl power, like, it was a lot of girl power. It was Alicia, Bianca, and Tiffany this episode, just girl power. Love that for us. It was a lot of that. I love that. It's cool seeing the guys do their thing, be the boss, be in charge, but the women, it's a whole different ball game. Like, we are stepping 10 toes, doing it big, and they're classy business women, professional. I like that. So I feel like Alicia could be she may try to get Nuck on her side, and, it could be a push and pull thing of power. Like, either we have Dudot on top, or Alicia could be the next Dudot. Literally. Like Rob said, his mom makes Dudot look like a saint. So, with Emmett now doing business, which, I'm like, Emmett, dang, take a second to think before you start running your mouth and doing business. Because it keeps getting him in a lot of stuff. But anyways, yeah. She could be next in charge. She could be the next queen pin up there on top. So we shall see. But I think that's like everybody's just kind of slowly gravitating towards Alicia's side. Because I'm like, Rashad, he used to work for Dudot. Like a chop shop, fixing up the cars or whatever. Now he works for Alicia. So everybody's just kind of slowly either in the middle or taking a side here. And same way with Zay. We all know the meeting he had the night that Emmett and Rob went for Dudot, was with Alicia. So we shall see. Like I said, Jake met with the First Lady. That was nothing too serious. I will say, I'm interested to see maybe Damien next episode, because I think, if memory serves me right, that when Emmett was talking to Alicia, he said he's going to get his brother to help with the business. So I'm assuming now he's actually going to give Damien a job. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how much we can trust everybody, because siblings popping up, snitching on they sibling, like, not keeping it 10 toes down, not having their sibling back, like, people just popping up left and right. I'll be laughing because I do watch everybody's reviews, and, like, I read the comments on Instagram to show the shot, and everybody just be saying, like, I think Dudot sent them, and so now I just be like, because can we really trust these people, like, how far can we trust the new characters and stuff like that? So yeah, hopefully next episode. I really miss Big Mensa on my screen. Yes, Lord. He is so good looking. I love Big Mensa, but yeah, like, we need more Jamal. I'm interested in hear his backstory, to see, well, not his backstory, but like to see where he's at now, like if he's making progress, if he's turning himself around, his life around. Because I know he said he was looking for a job, so maybe Victor could give him the job. I don't know. That he was going to give Rashad. So we'll see. Like Victor said, it comes with benefits and stuff like that. So, but I was just like, dang, where is everybody? Like, I haven't really seen much of Tracy. I felt like Jamal and Tracy had like a little connection, but we never went back to that. We haven't seen much of Nina. Haven't, like I said, haven't seen much of Tracy or Jamal or Lene. I would love to see more Lene as well. So we'll see. We'll see. But so far, also I need to see if Alonzo gonna work his magic and get Victor out. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen this Friday. Fridays cannot come fast enough. I wait like the whole entire week. I'll be at work like, dang, it's just Tuesday. Dang, it's just Monday. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for Friday. And also I'm gonna try to get my videos out a little bit quicker. I watched the episode. Like, I'd be up early in the morning to watch the episode, but I had to finish my hair, so that took me a minute. But I'm gonna try to do better with getting my videos out on time because I just want to chill on Sundays. But yeah, I'm about to start making a lot more videos because all of my favorite shows that have been in limbo because of the writer's strike and this, that, and the third are coming back. All American Homecoming is coming back, I think, either this month or in July. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's July. My show, The Bear, on Hulu is coming back, I believe, this month. I think this month. Fingers crossed. It's in June. I gotta double check. We got Power Book 2 Ghost coming out this Friday. And I'm so sad because this is the end of that show. And I'm just like, I'm about to suck in every little detail, make videos on Power Book 2 Ghost. That's coming. I'm going to be making videos on that when that comes on this Friday. Season premiere, the final season. Like I said, I'm making videos on The Bear when that comes back on. All American Homecoming. I'm going to be making videos also on Bel Air. I feel like Bel Air, and I got to rewatch the last season because that's the thing I hate about these gaps in the shows. Because I'd be like, dang, what happened? Like, I remember a little bit about Carlton, can't forget that, but I don't remember a lot of other things, and I have to go back and watch Bel Air, and that's coming in August, so I'm going to be ready for that. So stay tuned, stay locked in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and get ready for more shows. We are in the month of June, we are halfway through the year, and we're doing it big, we're doing it. And I think that is amazing. It's a new month. First week of the month. Birthday is Saturday. I'm excited. But yeah, it's a new month. Let's go in here with, good hope. Let's have a peaceful month, a joyful month. It's summertime. I always be like, once June here, I'm like, it's the summer. It's summertime. Like, I hope everybody has a good summer this summer and a great month and a great week. So, yep, but that's really all I had to say. Again, like, comment, subscribe. More videos coming soon because all my favorite shows are coming back. I'm going to try to do some other videos as well. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'm out.